So are you actually telling me that most women are full of shit?
I'm telling you, most women can't articulate for shit because they're afraid to do so, or they don't want to do so because they like people to like them for the things of what they show and not who they really are because they're afraid to be that person in a certain way because women want to be liked, they want to be accepted, and they want to be accepted by the greater good. Most women want to be looked as attractive, even the feminists, they do. The thing about it is, what the feminists have regaled themselves is that if they don't have conventional looks for many of them, right? They would prefer to get
What are
attention
you saying?
in an
What are you
all
saying?
present
Feminists are
glamorous
ugly?
type of way.
Are you saying
That's
feminists are
not what
ugly?
I said. I said what's happening for a lot of women, even for feminists. They will use the tactic of celebrity paparazzi, right? Which is all press is good press. So they will still take on the fact that I can still get attention by being summarily unattractive, but being very loud and boisterous. Because men will still look at me. Because guess what? Who are the top consumers of women? Men are. Even men engage feminists in a more positive manner than other women who are not feminists because we don't agree with them because they want to bring down the level of all women. They don't want women to get ahead for being attractive. They don't want women getting ahead for being able to flirt. That's what feminists want. So they actually want to ruin it all for all women. They don't want women to be able to stay at home and have some man take care of them. Because that's not what feminists want. They don't want that because they see it as demeaning. Because it's like, oh, women shouldn't be able to get ahead for their looks. And most of the other women be like, depending on how attractive you are, you've been able to use that as a superpower, right? Because you're not dumb. You realize that men are weak for women in a lot of ways. But for you men, like I said, the ones who think you think that you're a good guy, you believe women too much. And it's to your detriment. And it's not allowing you to progress. So you get a lot of women who don't respect you. So now you have to equate yourself and align yourself with being a male feminist. And those women don't like you. They will have sex with your brothers, cousins, and every other man around you and completely demean you and lie to you about who your children are because they don't like women. Women really don't like women like that. There's really no sisterhood like that. Women are only really in sisterhood when it's against men.
So you saying don't? Are you essentially? Are you saying don't believe women? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm essentially telling you to stop believing women on every thread. No, because women are emotional creatures. Yes, they will say and do anything to benefit themselves in that moment. We don't ever want to be wrong, and I'm saying that as a collective. They don't want to be wrong. They don't want to be put out, and they don't want to feel insecure. And a way to feel insecure is to find out that you're wrong and to have you're not in a position where someone is basically allowing you not to, your ass not to hit the ground, if you will. And I'm telling you, when you believe women too much, you are actually making them feel insecure because now they have to actually match up to the lie that you've accepted. Do you know how many layers of life and stress it gives to a woman to actually have to continue on with her lie? Now she has to live inside of the lie, inside of another lie, because you believed it instead of calling her on her bullshit.
Wow. So what you're wow. Hang on. So so hang on. Whoa. So you're basically telling me that women make up lies that they know men will believe.
Say that one more time. What was the
Are you,
question?
are, are you saying women make up lies that they know men will believe and then have to I guess keep that lie going?
I'm saying women make up lies, and you not necessarily that you will believe. It's just that you can't argue against because women are much more determined to win an argument than you are.
Why? Why?
That is our nature. We're hypocritical in a microcosm.
Can I answer? I have an answer, guys. I have an answer.
Hold on one second. Let me just answer this question before you talk on me. You came out really loud. So what I'm saying to you, and what I'm saying,
You're just doing an ego.
I'm not. You're not going to be annoying. Just wait a second. What I was saying to you, whatever. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Sarah is my name. Sorry, Sarah is my name.
Sarah. So in regards to that, is that men, right? When you're trying to argue with women in regards to that situation, it's very hard for you guys to win a point when you're saying that you're just being logical. With women, all they have to do is really argue the morality that you don't care about their feelings and you don't care about their perspective. If that's the case, then you will always lose every argument because you're then seen as the bad guy that you are not giving us our due. You are not appreciating our position. And this is why you fail at arguments because we're going to continue
Yeah,
to
but
argue.
as a man though, I've actually learned. So, sorry, Matthew. Let me just answer that. As a man, I've actually learned not to when I stop arguing with women. I've actually stopped arguing with women specifically because when women argue, they attempt to go for the emotional side of the argument, and they try to shame you, make you feel guilty, all that kind of shit, which is basically just a tactic, yeah, for them to win the argument, because really and truly the argument must be won on logic in my eyes. Do you know what I mean? So I've actually stopped arguing with women, and a lot of people say, "Oh my God, that's matriarchy, and that's patriarchy, and that's chauvinism, and blah blah blah." And I'm like, I really and truly, I don't give a fuck. I don't argue with women anymore.
So, question: have you dated a woman and you still continue dating her after she's disrespected you, but you just didn't argue with her?
In my past, yes, not in my current. So I was with a woman for like 10 years, so that's a whole nother thing. But in my present, no.
So I think to add to that, Joanne, I would think a better question would even be: are you okay with conflict? Again, we've said it before. I think conflict is necessary. Meaning confronting issues and being honest about them. And I think where Joanna is coming from is that it is very hard for women to really, sometimes take accountability. So I would say it may be, I don't even know if it's beneficial for a man to argue, but I think the disrespect and tolerating that is a different
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's a whole different mindset.
Yeah, that's what I was actually asking him the question for, is because to me, it's not so much about the argument. You guys get caught up on it because women have said to you that, well, a man arguing with a woman is not a woman. It's a woman. Because, again, women use language to demean other women. It's always hilarious. You got to listen to women speak.
Sorry, but to answer you, sorry.
One second.
Yeah, go on.
Hold on 1 second. Because what I'm saying to you is for a purpose. It's not about you not arguing with women. It's about the disrespect you allow. If you allow her to pass go and collect $200 after she's disrespecting you, and you didn't summarily put your foot up her ass and kick her out the door, it doesn't matter how many arguments you allow her to get or you allow her to have by herself. You've already been disrespectful. So now the disrespect is there. You already allowed it in there. You have to. You can't not only not fuss, because it's not even about that. It's nothing wrong with standing your ground, but if you're going to allow the disrespect, that's the problem, and that's what's happening.
Okay, so what?
You think that it's the argument that you need to
No,
get rid
right.
of,
So
but
what?
it's
So
the
what I
disrespect
learned.
that you have to get rid of.
So what I learned. So this is what I learned, right? This is what I learned as a man, right? So yeah, yeah. Go on.
I think this is hilarious because I got in an argument with my girlfriend the other day, and she tried to say that because I was winning, this is what women do, and I think this relates perfect. I was discounting her perspective to try to the mental gymnastics that you bitches do. It's hilarious.
So this is what what I was saying. So this is what I found, right, when I was arguing with a woman, right? So when I was in my relationship and I didn't want to fuss, like you said, right? I would say, you know what, I ain't doing this argument, and she'll be disrespectful. But you know what that done? That gave her an erection. That gave her the I guess the license to think that she won the argument. Because I didn't want to argue, she thought she won it. And so she started walking around like she's got this fucking penis, right? And she's got an erection. I'm like, what, you think you won the argument because I didn't want to argue? And that's when I started realizing, oh, okay, you need to be checked. That's what you need. That's what needed to happen. You needed to be checked. And so I slowly learnt that as a man, that women actually need to be checked. I actually learnt that quite late on.
Yeah, it's about you not allowing the disrespect. So, fine if she wins the argument or not, that is what it is. But what's happening is that women are always going to test the bounds of how far and how fast they can get away with things with you. So the more that you allow, yeah, she's going to be there like, oh, I know I can get away with things. I'm allowed to disrespect him. But you do have to check her, because there's a certain amount of disrespect that you just cannot allow, or else the whole confines of your relationship is completely destroyed. So she can argue till she's blue in the face. But if she starts calling you all types of derogatory names and she starts hitting you, this is where you as a man have to put your foot down. So either you're going to have to, she's going to have to do something else. Either that's going to have to stop, or you're going to have to summarily either make her leave or she's got to leave. It's just got to happen like that. There is no two ways about it, because that is a problem. We can't promote that it's okay for women to be violent, women to be abusive just because they have a certain genitalia. But you men, you allow that. You allow this behavior because you think it's communal,
Yeah.
like it's something okay because women have attitudes.
Yeah, but remember this though. But remember this.
How you can act out.
Yeah, but remember this. We currently live in a society, right, that when men check women, right, just let's be honest, if men start to check women, women who have a certain mindset know that they have a whole host, right, of whether it be police, social services, like they have a whole host of services that will back them up, right, on their shit. So hang on. So they have a whole host of services that will back them up on their shit. So a lot of the time, as men, when it comes to the police or whatever services that a woman would want to call, that is part of the emasculation process that a lot of men go through. Because while a man may want to check this woman, if she is in her masculine energy, would want to check that man back and say, you know what? You're not my man. I got another man, and he wears a badge, and he's got a fucking gun on his hip. So I'm gonna use him to check your ass. So a lot of men need to understand that a lot of women use these services to check other men.
But that's also with the vetting system situation. You as a man, this is the thing, because women can only hide this thing for a while. Once you have an argument with her and you see she goes to the direct line to disrespect, the fact of the matter is that you keep engaging her in a certain way shows your level of weakness, not the woman's weakness. So what I'm saying to you is, when you're looking at this on the system, she shows you the disrespect, believe her. Believe her, because she's not lying about that. Because all she's going to do is what I'm saying to you, and I don't think you're hearing me. She's going to then up the ante on disrespect. So once she disrespected you the one time, fine. Once you saw it and you checked her and she got upset about you checking her, if she's going to start upping the ante, again, as I said, you do have options. I wish people would stop this. You have agency. Leave her. There is no other discussion, because she will continue to up the ante. And it's going to boil down to you losing your agency and will. And that is going to come through, like you said, some kind of official authority that she's going to take to override you.
I agree.
Once you identify that you have this type of woman, why are you going to continue to engage her to see if you can win this war of who's going to check whom? It's not going to happen. Leave her. She deserves to be left alone, because she will summarily put somebody's life in danger just to be right about an argument. And you're telling me just to win the argument of who could possibly check her, you would risk your own life. That's you showing you don't care about yourself.
I agree with that, Joanna. And I would even add to this, Sarah. I have a son, 29. I have one that's 27. He's on the app sometimes. And I have a daughter who's 24. What I tell my daughter is this: if a man raises their hand and playing like they would hit you, run. If he disrespects you in a tone, bitches, and all this degrading, run. But if you disrespect him as well, that's a whole nother, he should run. And the same thing I tell my sons. When you see the argument where, again, I agree that confrontation is necessary, but this doesn't mean it's out of control. You can have a disagreement, agree to disagree situation without you losing your cool. One son, the younger one, always cool, mellow. He gets it. I think he's more perfected it. The older one, more like an incel. Yells, screams, and I tell him, you will remain womanless until you control yourself, because there is some control there, because you won't have to get to the police officer. You won't have to. And if she's aggravating you to that point, again, to Joanna's point, run. So you do have to stand your ground. Just like I say, I don't think a man should ever call a woman out of her name unless she's behaving that way. But this could be part of his character as well. Either way, I would pride myself as a woman to never be called a bitch. Just facts. Like, that's just how I would roll. For a man, if you okay with that, I'm concerned about your character. And I don't think people change their core. I think people show you who they are. And at that point, I think you should believe them.
And if I could synthesize a bit, it sounds like you create a dangerous situation